So, by now you've probably seen the dress, but what was the mindset behind this creation? I don't know, crazy? Okay, so if you want to do a massive project, I got me. I'm also really tired, so there's that. It's gonna be a hot mess. If you want to do a massive project, you really would like to do it, but you're afraid of it, you don't know where to begin, the entire thing seems really overwhelming. How do you get her done? How do you go from having done a massive project to biting off maybe a little bit more than you can chew? Well, I've done this, and it's a step-by-step process, okay? But if you look at this dress, there is nothing crazy going on with the construction. It's a bodice dress with a circle skirt, but it has about 100 and... hold on. Sorry, we got deliveries are across the street. There's restaurants and all sorts of stuff goes on that they get deliveries from semi-trucks. They make a lot of noise. I know, I should just be like, I'm filming here. Here's my recording light. Hello. Anywho, so there's nothing crazy going on with this dress. It's a circle skirt, okay? But it has about 135 hours, something like that, of hand embroidery work. I know. So how do you tackle something like this? You've dreamed it up, it sparkles at you, you would love to get it accomplished, but then reality sets in. What have you signed yourself up for? Things are feeling a bit overwhelming, but it's so beautiful. You really want to do it. Here are my 5 steps when I feel like I've bitten off a little bit more than I can chew, and how I get her down and digest it and all of that goodness. So it is okay. Don't shy away from that feeling of discomfort. It's normal. I remember when I first sat down to do Audrey's shadow work dress and having this feeling of, what have I gotten myself into? And then saying, nope, it's okay. Just stick with it. Instead of shying away from that feeling, reframe it. So you're at the starting line of a marathon. It's one foot in front of the other, or one stitch at a time. Turtle wins the race, one stitch at a time. So with Audrey's shadow work dress, I remember thinking, this flower right here. We're just gonna do this one flower right here. And if you can even break it down even further, right? This one petal of the flower. I'm gonna do this one petal of the flower. Half around the petal, break it down as digestible, as little bites as you need to. And then I'm telling you, as you get that one petal, if you get that one half a petal, whatever your first unit was, right? Half of that petal, you're like, well, now I just gotta do the other half. I just did half, so I know I can do half. I'm gonna do half again, and now I'm gonna have a whole petal. So now you move on to the next petal. Well, I can do this petal because I just did a petal. And now you've done you worked your way around a flower. Well, I did that flower, I'm just gonna rinse and repeat for this flower. And on and on and on, quite literally one stitch at a time. Try not to see the overall picture. Are you not recording? See, things do not have to go right. You just gotta keep pressing on. It is quite literally one stitch at a time. Try not to see the overall picture, but instead look at bite-sized pieces, whatever that might be to you, whatever feels digestible. Compartmentalize the project. So instead of thinking that you have to, you get to. Do this entire smock bodice with 100 bouillon roses. Focus on one line of smocking. Maybe it's half a row of smocking. And now you've got a half a row of smocking under your belt, so you repeat that, and now you've got a full row of smocking. And now that you've got one row of smocking, well, now that you just do another row. And now you're building the self-confidence because you've done it. And that's really the problem with this massive project that you have in front of you, because you have no proof that you can do this. So it's normal to be lacking the self-confidence. Self-confidence is built from doing the thing. So if you've never done the thing before, then there's no self-confidence to have. But in those situations, I think the idea is, 1, it's not rocket science. And 2, I've got a couple cents to rub together and I'm physically capable, so why not? Why can't it be me? Why can't I do the thing? And furthermore, what if? What if I could do the thing? Because I can do, and I do because I can. You can do one stitch. Quite literally, you can pick up the needle, thread it, and take one stitch. Now, I want to pause there and be sensitive to those who are disabled and can truly not do it. But I think most of my audience can thread a needle and take one stitch. So repeat that and keep going. You can because you are doing, and you are doing because you can. Changing your lens. You are going to sew anyways. So it's not like you're trying to cram. It's not like you're trying to cram this massive project into your normal framework. Let's say you normally spend 2 weeks an afternoon. No, 2 weeks. No, 2 afternoons per week. That's how it goes. 2 afternoons per week sewing. And normally that would result in a finished garment, more or less, right? Now clearly, you cannot take that same framework and apply it to a massive project. Even if you're like, all the quality can go down the drain, which it can't. But even if you're willing to accept that, there's just not enough time to do a massive project into 2 afternoons. So it's not about trying to get more accomplished in the same amount of time, but instead changing the lens at which you see the project. You are still going to sew 2 afternoons per week regardless. So what does it matter that if you get a finished garment in those 2 afternoons, or if you get a finished garment maybe 10 afternoons, 15, 20 sewing sessions later than your regular 2? Personally, I'd rather have something that is really special, just really sparkles at you, than something whipped together. I mean, I'm still down for a good 30-minute sew-off. I think that style of sewing will always have a special place in my teenage heart, but the older that I get, the more I lean towards something that is just really special. I want it to look like it could not have come from any store, right? If you could have like placed it on a thing at Target or some fancy, you know, what's the word? Not bouquet. What's the word? Boutique. I don't even want to look, it comes from a special boutique, okay? I want someone to look at this, the older that I get. My earlier stuff could definitely have come from Target or Carter's or whatever. And if you enjoy that style of sewing, by all means, you do you. I am not talking bad about it. But the older that I get, the more I'm like, I want all the massive projects because I want all the intricacies that I can't pronounce. I want all the detail and the sparkle and like the whimsical and the classic. I want it all together, and I want someone to look at it and just, not even someone, like I'm happy with just myself. I look at it and I'm like, it's not perfect. By no means am I super talented, and I'm not trying to like say anything otherwise, but you're not getting my stuff from a Target, right? So again, I'm not super talented by any means, and I definitely have my off days, but I do consistently show up to things that matter to me to the best of my ability without stressing. I know there's a lot of things to think about all at once, but consistently showing up to things that matter to you to the best of your ability, which will grow, right? And the things that matter to you will change. And you consistently will change as life evolves. And you do all of this without stressing, because life is supposed to be fun. And that's the key to creating this dress. Go check out the entire time lapse. It shows how the pieces came together, showing how I compartmentalized this into reality. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them. And as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I hope to catch y'all next time. She's putting on makeup in the car. All right. Eyebrows are important, aren't they, ladies?